what one thing I've learned, no, when I met, sabi natin, I had that encounter with God is we help people become better persons. Not just, magagaling in their nature of work. But kahit walang work yan, yung character nila is, intact. And when they go to their next journey, they are a better person. In the words of Mother Teresa, di ba, sabi niya na, we don't wash the plate just to make it clean. We wash the plate because we love the person who is going to eat from that plate.
As a leader, it's really important. Tayong lahat naging leaders. At this point in time, we're still leaders, no? And we're leading our team into sales. Hindi lang revenue ang hinahanap natin, hindi lang good character of people, but really being able to share the idea of our vision to the market para at least maging valuable yung ating produkto, products or services to the market, to the industry.
Okay, so welcome back to the Digital Transformation Academy podcast. So my name is Dennis Hilario. I'm your host and my co-host, Mr. Paul Familara. So right now we are doing a series about sales and sales management. So we are joined today by a very special guest, Mr. Bobby Purruganan. So he's a renowned sales expert with over 20 years of experience, specifically in the IT. Tama ba? Tama ba, sir?
Not really, actually. Late na ako
Okay.
naka-IT.
Sige, kwento natin mamaya yan. So today we'll be discussing a topic that's often overlooked but incredibly crucial to the success of any sales team. So the importance of having a great sales leader. So a sales leader sets the tone to the entire team and can have profound impact on the performance and success of the team. Who better to talk to about this but Bobby, who has been a sales leader himself and has helped numerous companies achieve their sales goals. So if you're a sales manager aspiring to be a sales leader or simply interested in learning more about the importance of having a great sales leader in your team, then this is the episode for you. All right, so Bobby, how are you? Kamusta ka?
Good morning. Is it good morning, no? New Zealand time ba tayo? Or
Philippine time.
Philippine
Philippine
time,
time?
yes.
So, good morning. Thank you, Sir Dennis, for that very warm intro. No? I feel like I'm, flying in the clouds, hanging in the clouds.
Welcome, Bobby. Welcome.
Sir Paul, nice to see you again, my former bosses.
Nice meeting you.
Paul and
Yes.
Lenz, yeah.
Siguro as a start, if you can provide us your background, a quick backstory. Total, magaling
Sige.
ka namang storyteller, no? At saka, what do you
Sige.
do now?
Gagamitin ko na lang when I got interviewed by Sir Paul siguro. And then actually, yeah, all right. I'm an IT graduate, no? Way back. I wouldn't mention the years, but it's been quite a long time. IT graduate of one of, I would say, better schools, no, in Metro Manila. But eventually, I did not have any. I'm a computer science graduate, by the way. No? I majored in information
Pareho
technology.
pala tayo.
Yeah. Before,
Okay.
I love to do programming. Because it's like using your logic, right? There's an expectation, there's an output, then you come up with the processes involved, the programming techniques to come up with that expected output. And eventually, to be honest, I did not have any career as a programmer because I went to the banks. No, I went to the financial industry. I talk too much daw kasi, if you're into programming, you keep quiet, di ba? You do your stuff, and then ganon, you submit your reports, and then you go home. So parang I find, at that time, young as I were at that time, parang it was so boring for me. So sabi ko, I love talking to people, I love reaching out to people, I love helping out people. So like, I'd rather be with sales. And of course, I love making money. At that time, that was the priority. So yeah, I was with the banks. I worked with one of the top universal banks in the country. I worked with some BPOs as well. I worked with a sales and advertising firm, company of Sir Paul. I worked also with some NPOs, non-profit organizations. It's actually a group of manufacturing companies, and we are focused on process and operations improvements, especially on the supply chain side. No? And then when I turned 50,
Recently,
parang
recently.
recently, I was invited to join an IT cybersecurity firm, which was to my surprise. I was telling myself, "Oh, bakit kaya nung kailan medyo na ako nasa ganitong age, that's the time I came back to my I would say academic background
Mm-hmm.
na IT and cybersecurity for that matter, but which is I would say much more complex, much
Mm.
more risk involved in terms of management, in terms of knowledge base.
Mm.
Sabi ko parang very challenging, no? But with God's grace and guidance naman, we were able to, I would say, adapt to the industry. And so 2016 or 2017, yeah, I guess 2018. 2018, I joined a local Philippine startup. Uh, I was into cybersecurity, and
Mm.
we were bought actually by an American firm. So I was with an American firm, and then I was invited by another local company, and then from there I was invited by a British company.
Mm.
So right now I'm working for a British company. So I would normally say,
Daming
in the
offer.
word, oh, in the words of Peppa
In
Pig,
demand.
in the words of Peppa Pig, would you like some apple pie? Ganun na yung aking accent. So
Right.
yeah, that's where I am right now. I'm the channels and director for channels and alliances
Yeah.
for Asia
Wow.
Pacific. So last year I were able to, I would say, get some foothold in Vietnam, Australia, and recently in Singapore. So
Right.
we build partnerships across those countries. Hopefully New Zealand, sir, Paul.
Mm.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a nice story, background ano. Our topic today is about sales leadership or sales management in general. I'm sure in terms of kasi yung previous episodes namin is generally about sales, a framework for sales. So now we are moving to sales management ano. So I'm sure over the years dapat pala na-invite natin si Bob yung mga previous episode.
Oh,
Marami siyang mga inputs about it. Ano. But yeah, we could
correct,
always do
correct.
it again. Ano. So,
Yeah.
with your experience, Bobby, how important is the role of a sales leader, in the sales team?
I guess the number one is like they help us set revenue targets.
Mm.
It's sometimes it works like this. The executive team will say we need this target, but it has to be validated by the sales manager or the sales head.
Right.
They plan the sales efforts to actually meet those revenue objectives or sales targets, and also, except number one, they drive revenue. Diba?
Mm.
We would always say sales is the lifeblood of any organization. So it's important for any sales manager, number one, to keep focus, pitch in his, I would say, objectives. Iba kasi labanan eh, like, how do you say it? But the balance scorecard thing, di ba? If I have a target, if I have something, I want to achieve something for the year, and I need the support. I
Mm.
have to get the buy-in from executive management, and I must be able to, present it in a way, monetize everything, help them to decide easier for me, something
Mm.
like that. No? So, ganun siya. Number one talaga is, it drives revenue. Kasi yun
Right.
ang talagang, why companies exist. We need to earn. And sometimes we have to, well, most of the times, not all, we need to collaborate with the different functional departments of the team. So
Mm.
there's the finance,
Mm,
there's the HR, and the operations. Kasi may
Mm.
integration
mm,
na ngayon because of unlike before, di ba, it's always manual. So papel-papel lang yung papasa. Right now, we have some platforms. Meron tayong mga digital applications that we use that works ko na, parang ERP, right, sir? Mga
Mm.
ganun, no? So, due to the nature of, especially what happened to pandemic, everything was pushed into digital. So, may mga tools na, no? Like what we do for project management, nakadikit na yung aming ginagawa with our operations and service delivery teams, mga ganun.
Mm.
So, the importance ng sales is not, again, of course, number one, revenue. But at the same time, it needs to lead the team. Meron siyang
Mm.
leadership
mm,
and not just managing the department, but leading the department and the members individually to achieve those goals. And in the background, ano yung support system, he must be able to understand that para mai-pitch niya yung value proposition naman na gusto ni sales department. Very important ang role ni sales because without the manager leading the way, magkakanya-kanya yan eh.
Right.
Parang,
Mm.
Exactly. Hindi siya streamlined or hindi siya aligned to the goal that you set, ano. No.
yeah. And normally
Mm.
kasi, di ba, sa business planning, merong what we call the management by objectives.
Mm.
So once everybody agrees, mga department heads agree on those specific objectives, then they do all they can to meet those objectives, di ba?
Right.
Para then there's mga quarterly reviews na lang naman yan eh, mga ganun.
Mm.
So the sales manager should be the one on top of it eh,
Right, right.
making sure na
Mm.
ano. Kasi even like the VP said, ang VPs kasi executive, they will only look at the numbers. Di ba? Ito yung ano natin. Mga owners, they look at the numbers. Pero how to drive the effort to reach that number, na kay sales manager yon. Yeah. Siya kasi yung nasa
Correct.
parang put on the ground eh. Kung hindi man siya, kung meron naman siyang talagang team, dapat kaya niyang i-manage yung team na yon. Parang gano'n. But
Yeah.
managers, the account managers, the sales executives, sila yung actually talagang nasa front line.
Mm.
Correct. Yeah, may saying kasi 'di ba na as goes the leader, so goes the organization. So it means the behavior and the performance ng sales manager, will have a significant impact on the behavior of your team or the sales team, no? Or even the organization in general kasi yung sales is like parang in the organization sa pana, yun yung arrowhead eh, di ba?
Mhm.
So
Lifeblood.
it's important na there's a good or a great captain, who leads the ship. Because Sir Paul, I'm
Mm.
sure, I think you also work together, no? What's your take about the importance of having, kasi there's also a good leader, there's also a great leader, no? So what do you think are the, what do you call that? Yung traits of being a great leader, no?
Yun nga eh. Si Bobby was one of our managers in our company. And he was able to lead salespeople. And of course, mahirap mag-lead ng salespeople kasi unang-una, pinupush natin sila sa number of customers that they have to meet at the same time meeting the revenue that you wanted. And yun sinasabi ni Bobby kanina na ida-drive yung revenue. So for a great manager, so there are two types no, of a leader. One is managers, what the other one is the main head, which is the visionary. Kung malilid mo yung manager properly, yung manager will lead their team properly as well. So yung cascading effort na yung properties na yun of being a good leader is cascaded down. At the same time, the salespeople will lead also whoever it is that's under his control be part of the success of the team. So yung na-mention ni Bobby kanina that the sales manager becomes the voice between the sales executives and the management or the top management is really true. Importante yun kasi he has to sell the idea. So, and if you sell the idea properly to the management, they will support. Kasi minsan hindi alam ng management, yung top management, yung ideas na gustong i-implement sa baba. Kasi medyo bago na yung trend. For example, kailangan natin ng CRM program na dating wala.
Right.
So, mas magiging accurate yung ating measurement of leads and conversions and at the same time recording of the data. So, isa yun sa mga, sabihin ng management, it's too expensive, hindi pa natin kaya yung ganyan. Isulat yun na lang sa Excel or sa database file. So, pero pag na-prove yan ng sales manager, okay, I'll run all these numbers along with my five people team, tapos makita natin yung effect, doon magiging effective yung the whole process of the team's success. So tama, good insight Bobby, and at the same time Dennis, yung sabi mo nga importante yung leading na yung where goes the head goes the rest of the team, no? So
Right.
importante yung an example, and at the same time nag-iisip ka for the sake of everyone, not for the revenue or for yourself. It's really for the sake of everyone.
Correct. Today yung point kanina, no, na the sales leader or the team set goals, no? Siguro, Bobby, if you can give us your framework, no? How do you set the goals or revenue target of I'm sure maraming ways of doing it, ano? Depende sa industry, depende sa product, but in your case or in your experience, what is like the common blueprint in setting revenue targets, no?
Good question, sir. No? Siguro share ko na lang siguro here, no, with CyberQ. So, kasi nga, it's a startup company here, although 5 years in the UK, pero we only opened shop 2020, late 2020.
Mm-mm.
Parang it was filed sa SEC around December 2020, pero it operationalized around middle of 2021. And I got onboarded October 2021. So at that time, parang sabi, we need your help. Can you help us, ganyan, build the company? Sabi ko, sige. So sabi ko, I wanted to collaborate with the business plan. Pero dahil nga business plan will incorporate everything, sa sales plan na lang, sabi ko gano'n. Kasi if I don't have the authority to look at the numbers, operating cost, mga ganyan. So I'll do the sales planning itself. So hiniwalay ko yung partner development, partner program development, plus the sales plan. Pero incorporated ko na lang whatever expected revenues from the partnerships dun sa pipeline going to the sales plan.
Mm.
Ang beauty kasi nung nangyari dito, sabi ko gano'n, sila kasi nakatingin by the numbers lang, blah, 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 ito yung ating ano. So sabi ko, number one, we are into services.
Right.
So, ang services, hindi siya parang candy eh. Na parang binili mo na ano, no? It's not B2C, it's not B2B. It's not, hindi siya B2C, hindi siya product.
Hindi siya
But
product.
important kasi is to productize our services.
Mm.
So, una kong
Mm.
ginawa is to have a price book. And then, let's say I need to rationalize. I rationalize yung pricing ng UK, US, and make it, I would say, palatable sa Philippine market.
Mm.
And we were saying na we want to disrupt the market here in the Philippines and Asia Pacific with our price points. Kasi normally that's the pain point naman ng mga customers. No? Knowing that cybersecurity is
The price.
expensive and that's a
Yeah.
given, sabi ko we have to do something about it. Can we do this? So I applied what we've been doing before, like the gross profit margin. So, pero ang maganda kasi
Yeah.
when I designed that plan, that goal, sabi ko ganun, we have to be yung smart, of course, smart principle, no, with apply.
Mm.
Tapos be specific, measurable, down to time-based. Sabi ko ganun, we should be able to compute for the gestation. Kasi yun ang critical. Kasi ang that time, we were discussing about month by month. Sabi ko, we cannot do that month by month kasi number one, we're new in the market. Wala pa tayong market share. Hindi pa naman tayo may nakikilala dito.
Mm.
Pangalawa, how big or how small is our revenue target?
Mm.
Sabi ko gano'n. So, ito na lang. From my experience, if you're selling, let's say, applying the principle of what FMCGs would normally do, yung mga fast-moving consumer goods, di ba? Ano yung pinakamabilis mabenta? So, it's a pen testing. Kasi, minsan, they don't need to decide. Automatic yan eh.
Mm.
Pangalawa,
Mm.
it's a regulatory, no? It's compliance na talaga. You don't actually sell na nga pen test eh, kasi it's required
A
na.
requirement.
Right, right.
So, ganon.
Yun
Yun
yung
na lang.
low-hanging fruit eh, di ba?
Yes. So, also, sabi ko ganun, okay, let's compute. And then when we're setting goals, sabi ko, only up to this much. So, nag-create ako, no? So, initially, it was challenged. Sabi nga ganun, bakit ang baba ng goals mo? Parang ganun.
Mm.
We have to be realistic, number
They have
one.
to buy in dun sa
Yeah.
practicality ng plan.
Yes. So parang kaya eventually, so sabihin na lang natin, kunwari, hypothetical, $30 million for 1 year. Kunwari ganun. Sabi ko, sige, I will do that, pero I need these people. I need additional sales managers. I need a pre-sales to help me, reach out and connect right away to the end users or to the customers. And I need a sales management, sales management or sales admin support. Kasi what happened was we do have our CRM, it's HubSpot, pero it doesn't show all the necessary, I would say, if you're managing a sales performance, kulang dun yung mga metrics na gusto mo, yung mga KPIs.
Right, right.
So what I did, Sir Paul, if you remember, di ba, nagpa-create tayo ng dati kay Magnalax, no, nung sales ma. I did an interactive dashboard on Excel. Kasi nga
Mhm.
budget, ayoko naman ay coming in tapos panigastos ang request ko. Parang ganun. So
Correct.
so nag-create ako ng mga ng mga something that I can show management na look, uh,
Mm.
if I'm talking to my CEO here in Asia Pacific, I think performance, these are the KPIs. It's a one-page format, single pane of glass. Ito siya. Kita mo. So, easier for him to decide, di ba, if he's doing quarterly reviews on our performance for Asia Pacific, especially for Philippines. So, halo-halo siya doon when I did set the goal. Uh, ang ano ko lang kasi nung yung let's say nga 30 million, then I got a call from the group chairman. Sabi ganun, can you, explain to me your sales plan? Tapos tinanong
Mm.
nga niya ako, can you reach this target? Kung ikaw lang, we will not hire. Sabi ko, definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah,
Di
yeah.
ba? Kasi, again, yung goal setting kasi, kung papabilog ako, kaya papaano, if I not be, I would say, firm and realistic, dinadala lang ako, di ba? And then, sino
Correct.
magkikarry ng burden na yun? It's an unnecessary burden eh.
Right.
So, sabi
Yeah.
ko ganun, let's do forecasting, sabi ko standard 30% achievable. So if I put in 30 million, tapos ako lang ang tao, kasi nga bago daw, parang ikaw muna, parang ganun. O sige, so that's leaves me with one third, so that's 10 million. What I can guarantee is 30%, 3 million. The rest
Mm.
bonus. Eventually, I proved them wrong na at the end of the year, slightly over ako. Kasi at that time, parang in 6 months time, nasa ano na ako eh. Nasa almost 100% eh.
Wow. Wow.
I think, Bob, may cultural aspect din dun kasi now that I'm in a first world country tapos mahal magbayad ng manpower ng people. They were expecting that if they start with the Philippines and you will be part of the organization, akala nila pwedeng isang tao lang. Kasi dito ganun eh. Pag nag-start sila ng isang something, isang tao will do multitasks.
Mm.
So, kailangan you know everything kasi we will pay you this much, but we cannot pay more people to work
Mm.
with you. Otherwise, probably you can ask for a third party to support you. So you pay them operation expense as needed. So when you were asked and you asked for a team and they pushed back, I believe the idea was for them to expect you to deliver the same number without the team,
Right.
which in the Philippines, it's totally different because we are accustomed to working with a team, which is also necessary. So I think you were able to create a good balance there to set up a right expectation in the terms of the numbers, but at the same time, being able to support a good team to be able to reach the numbers that they are expecting as well. So good balance yun. And that's, I think, the value of you being the leader, the sales leader.
Right. And to that point, kasi I think what you've done is a sign of an experienced sales leader, eh, 'di ba? Sometimes kasi
Mm.
sabi nga yung executive department, they're setting unrealistic goals, no. So it's the job of the sales leader to tell the executive team na with the current market trends and these things, no, this is not realistic. All right. So next question probably is once you've set the goal, uh, what do you think are or your way or effective ways, no, in cascading it to your team and making sure na ma-meet yung sales goals?
Okay, I guess it has to start with me first eh, no? Parang I need
Mm.
to, keep myself motivated.
Ah, yeah,
Parang ganun siya, no?
for
That's
sure.
number
Tama.
one. Para I can pass along the vibes.
Mm.
Tama.
Uh, s- uh, there's the leadership, meaning you just don't simply manage, but you inspire them to do things on their own. If
Mm.
you remember Purple tayo, di ba, when we're doing the
Yes.
dapat mga AMs, they should have this consultative behavior eh.
Correct.
Meaning we don't work only for ourselves. So we put it in the background. Parang we look at what the customer needs, what are their pain points, we address them. At the end, we make them happy. Parang ganun, no?
Mm-mm.
And, we give them their peace of mind. That's, parang I would say a more holistic approach. And then along the way, we do the technical stuff, di ba? We do what is yung in common, no? Yung mga management techniques and all of that. Well, I guess number one, of course, will always be leadership. Yeah, that's one. We keep them motivated. We understand their concerns. We address them. We help them out. We don't babysit, di ba? But we do hand-holding. Kasi everybody should be more or less mature enough to understand the roles. Pero as managers and sales leaders, we should be there for them to help them along the way, no? And to help them succeed. Coaching is important as well. Kaya yung mga companies,
Mm.
di ba, merong kapag performance improvement plan, they have this coaching something, now they plug it in there. So those are mechanisms that are in place to help the sales team. Then we also, I would say, be able to give recognition. So there's a good
Mm.
incentive program. So actually, di ba, circle tayo, noon, I used to handle direct and partners, no? Dito the same, no?
Correct.
So nung yung sinasabi ko about the partnership program na I created something na I think very unique for the Philippine market kasi walang gumagawa eh. Uh,
Mm.
since we are a principal, tapos meron kami mga local partners. So I suggested na we do not really know yung ecosystem or incentive plan ng ating partner with regards to their salespeople selling our services. Diba? Kasi we are not their core product or core service.
Core
Let's say an
product. Yeah.
SI, yung system
Mm.
integrator, ang talagang push niyan is to sell licenses or to sell
Correct.
hardware, mga ganun, no? Although they plug in or they integrate our security services, pero we're not so sure if if they're part of the sales plan to push it out sa market.
Push.
So
Mm.
wala. So we don't have that visibility. They only say na we will be talking to this to that, parang ganun, no. So hindi talaga siya built in natively in their sales or business plan. So sabi ko
Mm.
gano'n, saka minsan yung mga ahente will not push for us kasi nga hindi naman sila mare-recognize diyan or they won't get anything. So what I did is sabi ko gano'n, I have a proposition. What I want to do is to incentivize yung effort nung sales manager nung partner. So we will
Mm.
pay for every sale this much.
Mm.
Let's say, kunwari na lang 3,000 pesos for every sale. So
Right.
what no matter the amount. Kapag tumataas yan, if you're selling like 5 million, 10 million, then you get 50,000, 100,000, parang ganon. Our own money, CyberQ money.
Mm.
Bibigay namin sa
Mm.
ahente. Sa ahente ninyo. Let's say if
Mm.
you're our partners, we're part of the partnership ecosystem dito. So you get your discount rates as a partner company incentive, and we will incentivize your reward program dun sa inyong mga
Mm.
ahente who are selling our services.
I
Ganon.
think naging creative ka in a way na instead of just using a team or yourself, but to extend that ability to sell using your partner's salespeople. So yun ang maganda doon kasi syempre kung hindi mo masaspread sa limited number of people na meron ka, bakit hindi, since may partner ka, may people silang gamitin mong parang sales extension. And of course, they have to be paid, and they're being paid by recognition, which is a parang target system or award system, which is also which includes monetary award. So that's good. That's several ways nga to make your sales work, and isa yan sa pinaka-creative na way in using partners as an extension of your team.
Right.
Hindi ka talaga pwede, you have to set the rules properly.
Yes. So,
Para, kasi kapag moving target, okay lang yung moving target kung yung industry naman nagmo-move din. Pero kung hindi, walang ibang basis, frustration yan, no, sa sales.
Right. And you have to make sure na your operational team and delivery team can also deliver, no? Kasi inaalay naman yung lagi sa sales
yes.
target eh. Yeah, so you mentioned about motivating your team through monetary or non-monetary incentives. You also mentioned about managing the team through CRM kanina, no? Ikaw, Sir Paul, do you have anything to add in terms of managing effectively your sales team?
I think one important thing is they're part of the goal. So alam nila kung ano yung plan talaga. Ibig sabihin, um, yung vision nung company is also cascaded properly to each person. Kasi alam natin na bawat isa sa atin may role na gagawin. Pero kung alam natin yung pinaka main vision, like we are growing part of the industry, not just our revenue, but part of our industry. Be part of this industry and meet a certain market share by this time, so that we can share our products or service properly, and get this advantage or give this advantage to our customers. Magiging ano sila mas lalakas ang loob nila. So yung motivation by award, by reward, by recognition, but this time this is a motivation by the main goal itself. Kasi sa Maslow's laws of needs, alam natin,
Right.
pag ikaw yung alam mo yung pinaka peak ng satisfaction ng tao is being able to achieve a goal, a higher purpose.
Right.
So kung part sila ng higher purpose, magiging ano sila, empowered sila,
Correct.
and each salesperson will believe that they're very important to this goal.
Right. So basically, the messaging to your team, is really important. Bob also mentioned about coaching. How do you guys handle yung mga non-coachable sales reps? Kasi maraming yan eh.
Uh, okay, normally, of course, it has to start with the standard process, no? Kapag we benchmark on certain performance metrics, that's the time the coaching will come in as part of the PIP, the performance
Right.
improvement plan. So, ang nagiging challenge ko talaga kapag matigas ang ulo, kasi ano kasi sa akin, whether is an advantage or disadvantage, I can sense kasi kapag ang tao negative agad, no? Meaning talaga kahit ano sabihin mo diyan, at the back of their mind, wala akong pakialam sa'yo. Parang gano'n.
Correct.
May mga ganong ahente.
Maraming
Di ba?
yan, actually.
Di ba? So, kumbaga, coachable or non-coachable, I still do my job as part of the role in coaching. And then kasi naman at the end of the day, who will decide on the the numbers on the performance card? Tao pa rin naman 'yan eh. Sabi nga madalas, numbers don't lie. Yeah. So
Right.
kung talagang hindi nakikita doon sa kanila, then what can I do? Parang gano'n. If there's a lot of intervention already that were provided, a lot of support, pero he or she is not really not taking advantage of that, decision niya na yun eh. Pero may bias naman ako sa alam kong mabait, tapos yung gusto talaga matuto na nahihirapan lang.
Right.
I give more consideration. Whether wrongly right man eh. I mean, he has the right I would say character, fortitude, yung ganon. Nahihirapan lang talaga either yung kanyang absorption rate on the knowledge base, di ba? Either yung kanyang personality needs for adjustment, parang ganon. Sabi ko, ganun din naman ako dati. So, especially kaya sabi ko, I was very grateful dahil although IT, wala akong IT career eh. And takot ako dati pumasok kay Pandora Labs at that time, yung first cybersecurity firm. Kasi alam ko, masyado na akong lumang tao, fine IT career, no? Ang laki na nung jump eh, from where I started or where I left off. So, parang ang laki-laki ng gap. How do I bridge that? Hindi ko alam. So, I guess kanina pag-uusapan lang natin when we start officially discuss the podcast, like syempre good leaders always inspire, di ba? Like ako hindi naman ako Time Circle, hindi naman ako into advertising. I'm not too into LEDs talaga, di ba? With Pandora Labs, I'm not into cybersecurity, pero I listened, I adapt, I did some research, di ba? So and then I made a marriage between that I know yung mga techniques, selling techniques, diba, management techniques, from what is the product, company product, or what the company is trying to push, either as a company, in what the company gives value to the industry and to each organization, or sa tao rin, di ba? Maganda. By the way, Sir Paul, which reminds me, naalala niyo po noon sa inyo pong resort dun sa may Rizal ho ba yun? Diba you gave a talk on different people, yung mga ganun. Naalala niyo yung PowerPoint niyo? There's biblical
No,
na
evening na yun, no? Evening tayo,
yes, oo.
talk tayo sa business plan part yun, no?
Yes. Meron pa nasa inyo pa yun, sir?
I guess so. Should be in my file.
Maganda yun, eh, hihingi ko sana.
O sige,
Kasi
hanapin ko,
kasi
share ko sa
Pahingi rin
inyo.
akong copy niyan.
kasi ano, eh, our global COO will be coming over etong March, no? Next week. And then he'll be here for like 3 weeks. Tapos parang sinasabi niya, 18, 19, team outing. So, tapos ng part na siya nung
Ah,
so may mga presentation mga department heads, parang gano'n. So, I was
oo.
wondering kung matutuloy yon. Ayoko naman yung about laging ganito na lang na parang, targets pa, di ba? Systems, plans, ganun, ganun. Sabi ko, something to do with that person itself eh. Di ba? Parang ganun,
Mm.
how we handle that eh, parang ganun. So,
I think ang na-share ko sa inyo doon about Nehemiah when he was able to lead his people to rebuild the the temple of Solomon. I think is that what the one
uh,
na share
dalawa
ko sa
yata
inyo?
yun, sir. Tapos yung isa is,
Mm.
yung iba-ibang klaseng tao. May mga definition ka
Oh,
ng,
yan.
oo.
Oo. Okay, okay. Naalala ko na.
Ah,
Yeah. Yung definition of different types of people. Correct. Sige, share ko sa'yo. Hanapin ko sa'yo.
may
I-discuss natin
tatawid,
yan sa
tatawid.
one episode sa sa podcast.
Mm.
Yeah.
Kasi di ba madalas natin sabihin kahit ako skills can be acquired and unacquired. Di ba?
Right.
Character
Mm.
hindi eh.
Correct, correct.
So if you have that character of progressive, proactively, parang we're open to new learnings, we accept God, we accept where God puts us, parang we know our
Yes.
roles, whether we succeed or not, as long as, we do what is expected, it doesn't matter. Kasi in the greater scheme of things, parang siguro tayo, what's happening right now, since we're planted before, all of a sudden, may ganito na tayo. Parang may mga ganun, no?
Mm.
So, yeah, ganun lang eh.
Right.
Parang,
Yeah. How about you?
May question ako,
Sige, go ahead.
Bob. Des, tanong ko si Bob kasi na-experience niya to sa company namin noon eh. You have a salesperson who's a nice person naman. Magaling siya mag-develop ng leads pero hindi niya ma-close yung mga sale.
uh,
Kasi hindi niya na-meet yung target. I'm sure kilala mo yan
uh,
sa
I
team
tried,
natin.
I tried to
Yeah,
help him out
how
eh.
were you able to handle those type of challenge?
Well, that time kasi is not really official ako yung mag-head eh. Parang yung our sales head tapos kami eh, no? We're on same level. So, gusto ko siyang tulungan eh. Kasi di ba yung closing? Kaya yung ibang companies, kapag the bigger the projects, merong isang closing, may closers eh. Di ba? So, merong magmamanage nung lead or ng opportunity. They will keep it warm. They try to push it forward. Kapag closing part na, darating na yung mga big boss to close, di ba? Kasi pag bigla siyang nag-demand, can you make that quick decision? Eh kung andun yung boss, sige, okay, go ahead. Bibigay ko sa'yo. Sign it now. Parang ganon. So,
Correct.
although wala yung ganong mechanism with us, pero that time, gusto ko siyang tulungan. Eh kaso, sabi ko, pare, bakit, try mong ganito, ganyan, ganyan. Ito yung mga kasi yan. Kumbaga, sir, ano bang withholding you from the decision? Is it price? Is it timing?
Mm-hmm.
Parang gano'n, no? I mean, gusto niyong kunin pero you're not ready, or would you like us to make some better payment terms? Parang gano'n. Ganun ba? To cut the long story short, yung kay managing mga ganong tao talaga, very, I would say, nung una, before ako napunta sa, I would say, before I understood yung higher objectives, ika nga, ng management, na parang kasi, di ba, we have a soft heart eh, na, sige na, pagbigyan, gano'n. Pero eventually, hindi naman, I would say, parang tinigas na yung puso, hindi naman. Pero parang naging realistic in a way na talagang ibang tao, they will never change. Sometimes they like you or they don't like you. Parang,
Yung discernment mo tumaas kasi nakita mo yung yung value and undervalue of
Okay, so yeah, I think we're about to wrap Siguro last question in this episode is that kasi as a sales manager, sometimes we are tempted to also sell, 'di ba? Nasa atin naman yung decision if we want to also sell or just focus on managing the team. So the question is, would it be advisable as a sales leader to combine the two, the sales responsibility and the management, basically?
Yeah, fair question.
Sa akin, number one, it depends on how big the company is. No?
Yeah.
Kasi like if you're talking to a multinational or a regional player talaga, meaning they have the resources, ang sales manager tayo is only to manage, di ba? It's only to manage, help them, each individual sales executive to reach their targets. So mechanisms are in there, either performance management, systems management, the CRM stuff, the coaching stuff, everything, lahat ng ingredients, sales ingredients are there to make a successful sales run. No? As a manager, kung ako, given the choice, I would prefer not to sell. I would rather prefer to coach and motivate people to achieve their goals, to help them become better persons.
Right.
Mas gusto ko yon. The
Because
pressure is not, ha? Kasi
because
ako, personal ang feeling ko kasi, along the way, sabi ko ang ganun, even sa mga bago naming mga nakakasama ko, and mga, isa nag-OJT rin, sabi ko madalas, hindi naman tayo magkakasama, we're not so sure if magkakasama tayo rin, parang ganun. Pero what I know, uh, one thing I've learned, no, when I met, sabihin natin, I had that encounter with God, is we help people become better persons. Not just, magagaling in their nature of work. But kahit walang work yan, yung character nila is, intact. And when they go to their next journey, they are a better person. In the words of Mother Teresa, di ba, sabi niya na, we don't wash the plate just to make it clean. We wash the plate because we love the person who is going to eat from that plate.
right.
Mas madali yun kasi, di ba, we're not talking about yung, magbenta ka na kasi wala ka ng ganyan, di ba? Pare, do this, parang ganun kasi alam mo, it will help you create discipline. It's just a matter of time management and parang being prepared para pag nagtanong ka, alam mo na yung questions mabilis, then you can move forward, mga ganun, no? So you get signals, buying signals. So alam mo if you're going to let go or not yung mga nasa pipeline. But you can do your proper CRM hygiene.
Right.
Mga ganun lang na ano. So saka nga parang syempre, if you do this, so you did the right thing, you did not lie to the customer, you made them happy, meron kang reward, then you can do this for yourself or to your family, parang gano'n. Mas gusto ko yon. Pero at the same time, may mga instances din na, laki pala ng project na to, no? Sayang ako na lang sana nagbenta.
Exactly.
Parang gano'n. Di ba? May
Correct.
gano'n. So, it depends on
Incentivize.
how big the organization and kano yung incentive program nila. Like, so ako yung magbebenta.
How about you, Sir
Saka,
Paul? What's your take about it? About combining sales
Yeah,
responsibilities, no, and team
I've
management?
worked I've worked with several organizations before I became a businessman. And sabi nga ni Bobby, depending on the size of the organization. So it's a big multinational company that's based in the Philippines. It's an international business. So malaki talaga. Merong sales manager, merong pang national manager, no? Aside from the sales team of a certain region, so may mga layers. Um, the people above, they also sell, but there are levels na hindi na sila nagbebenta. I think importante yung hindi ka nagbebenta para makita mo lahat ng mga tao mo na nagpa-perform, otherwise mawawalan ka ng focus.
Right.
Pero importante rin na nagbebenta ka, you're selling yourself as well, so you know what's going on the ground. You have the touch of what's and the feel of what's going on, aside from kung ano lang kinikwento sa ng mga sales team mo na parang ang hirap sir, hindi namin mabenta, hindi
Right.
you might see something else. However, I think what's important is just what Bobby was mentioning, is there's no need for competition. You don't have to compete with your salespeople, because otherwise that will create animosity. If
Right.
you create animosity, then there's no teamwork anymore. Sabi nila si boss pa kumuha ng benta ko, di nawalan pa ako ng commission or something like that.
Right.
Which is, if there is a good tiering system na nakaset up, like, okay, I will sell this, but because this is a sales group's target, you will also get a part of that. But my effort will also be recognized. Or if I help you sell that, then we will both get recognized and awarded or incentivized. But there's a good share. So I think it's the management's ability to set it up properly to avoid this animosity in terms of yung nag-uunahan sa incentive. Now, in regards to being able to sell as a sales manager, importante yon.
because what if one gets sick or someone leaves, then no one will
Yeah.
sit on that table or that place to achieve the same target. And if you get someone else, it takes a little while for them to learn. So may learning curve pa. So the sales manager must be able to jump in immediately. So I think case to case basis.
Yeah.
I agree. The sales manager, don't let your don't forget that you should have this ability to sell. But once you're in the level of managing your team, i-ano mo na lang, i-motivate mo na sila.
Right. I think you guys are right. Ano? Wala talagang tamang sagot doon. It depends on so
Mm.
many variables. There are pros, there are cons. No? Sabi nga ni Sir Paul, no, ang mga pros doon is kasi nga you can stay close to the market, to the customer behaviors and whatnot if you're also doing it. Ano? And then also, you can also lead by example. Ano? Pero in terms of disadvantage nga is you may have less time naman and energy for managing your team kasi nakafocus ka dun sa ano no sa selling no, yourself no. Okay, yeah, so I think that's all we have time for today no. Siguro Bob, thank you so much first ano for
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you rin
sharing your
po.
thoughts and insights and being here. Siguro as a closer, if you can introduce your company, what you do and what are your services.
Okay, hindi na ako maglalabas ng PowerPoint, joke.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very brief lang.
No, from the background you can see na tama ba? Nandito.
Yeah, yeah.
Dito?
Yes,
Kabila.
dito, dito. Yan,
Yan, yan,
kabila.
yan.
Yan.
Yan,
Oh.
CyberQ. No? CyberQ actually, it's an UK-based firm, and then it extended to the US and now in the Philippines. We are a global cybersecurity firm, and
Mm,
we do of course, cybersecurity services and the whole bunch. No, yung ang beauty with CyberQ is we can do bespoke, no, yung mga out of the box, na something
Customized.
mm,
additional. And so the traditional cyber due diligence exercises like testing, monitoring, incident response, di ba? Breach detection, threat intelligence, those are standard, no? Uh, what is unique with us is siguro we were able to develop two services. We call it uh, due diligence and cyber assurance.
mm,
Due diligence is to support basically yung mga mergers and acquisitions initiatives ng mga companies. So we
mm,
look into the, I would say, not only on the surface net. No, let's say if you want to buy a company, Sir Paul, would you know kung na-breach na ba sila? Kasi if you know if they've been breached, magsa-second thoughts ka, di ba?
mm,
So before you buy that, aside from the usual, background investigation, the due diligence, so we scour the dark web and the deep dark web kung the personalities involved are, have been targets of of a cyber attacks. Ano ba sila, point of people of interest ba sila, mga ganun, no?
mm,
Have they any associations with underworld, mga ganun, and has the
mm,
company been breached? Kasi it will diminish the value of everything, eh. So
mm,
it will help you
Mm.
have a better decision making doon sa plan to acquire a certain company. Smart assurance naman is we're into smart buildings. So let's say mga smart cities. So we secure the whole shebang, ika nga. Kasi normally, you have the infra, you have your telco, you have your mga IT dyan. And then individually, meron yan nakalagay. But if you put it within, let's say parang eggshell, who protects the shell of the egg? Wala eh. Di ba?
mm,
So yun siya, that's where cyber assurance comes in. Parang we look at the standards in place, no, practices in place, and benchmark it against certain standards, and then we see, okay, this is compliant. Not only on the individual, kasi like meron akong cybersecurity solution where in the same building, si Sir Paul, Sir Dennis, meron kayo doon with different floors. Wala kay isa sa inyo walang or ako ako paling walang security.
mm,
We are both using connected with auxiliary system eh. Di ba?
mm,
Na si part control. Meron sa'yo, you have your smart rooms, nandun yung inyong smart TV when you do your meetings. Pwede pumasok sa akin yan eh. Kasi ako
mm.
yung weak defense eh. And then it will crawl. Hahanapin yung kung sino yung target niya doon sa loob ng building.
Wow.
Di ba yung ganon?
Sophisticated.
Yeah. Yep. So, quite unique yung mga ganon. No? So that's what
Mm,
we do.
right.
We're quite young in the market, but we're very happy that we're able to, I would say, make our presence
Okay.
in a short span of time. Vietnam, uh, Singapore, Australia. Hopefully, we get to pursue the contract with Morocco, Tunisia, even Israel.
Yeah.
So hopefully, hopefully it pushes.
Yeah. If they want to learn more, so where do you want to bring them? What's your website or email address?
Yeah, website, email will be nice, will be nicer, but it's Bobby at cyberqgroup.com. I have two emails here,
Yeah.
r.purruganan, which is quite more complicated,
Ay.
harder to pronounce. So it's better like Bobby at cyberqgroup.com.
Sir, nawala ka.
Oo nga, sorry, I forgot. Hindi ko napansin, paubos na pala yung battery ng ano ko. Biglang nag-off.
Yan.
Anyways,
Actually, we're
sorry.
closing na. Maybe you can give us your final words in this topic.
I believe yung na-share ni Bobby was really important, no? To about sales leadership. And this is a very good insight for everyone. Kaya ako, just as a leader, it's really important. Tayong lahat naging leaders. At this point in time, we're still leaders, no? And we're leading our team into sales. Hindi lang revenue ang hinahanap natin, hindi lang good character of people, but really being able to share the idea of our vision to the market para at least maging valuable yung ating produkto or products or services to the market, to the industry. So ako, that's what I believe. Once you share the purpose, the rest will follow.
All right. So that's a wrap. Thank you so much, Bobby, for being here. No, so again, so
My
to all
pleasure.
our listeners out there, we hope you found today's episode valuable and insightful. Don't forget to subscribe and rate our podcast on whatever platform you're consuming this. Leave us a review to let us know how we're doing. And as always, we'd love to hear from you. So feel free to reach out to us with your questions, comments, or suggestions for future episodes. So DX Your Life in Business. Have a great day.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Bobby.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Thank you, Sir
Dennis.
Paul.
God bless you.
Dennis.